Kicking off the fourth and final week of How to Hot Laps, we are at Spa-Francorchamps. With its fast, swooping corners and long straights, this legendary 7-kilometer long circuit produces some of the most exciting races we see from the Formula as well as endurance classes alike. Question is, what tiny sports car do we choose to kick off this week? Well, if you've seen the memes, you already know the Miata is always the answer. Hi there, my name is Neil. Welcome to my channel. Now look, we hear the term sports car tossed around quite a lot these days, right? But if you go by the classic definition of sports car, front engine, rear wheel drive, lightweight chassis, manual gearbox, open top, and not an amazing amount of power, then in today's market, there is really only one car that fits that definition. The Mazda MX-5 Miata. We'll learn more about the car when we take it hot lapping. As of now, here's the plan. I'm going to have this 5-lap race with 7 other Miatas to try and find out what a fast, competitive lap time in this car around this track looks like. Then we get to hot lapping, where we target the fastest times we have seen during the race, try and get somewhat consistent at it over a few lap session while we know more about the car. Then we get to the breakdown, where we dive deep into the fastest lap that we managed during the hot lapping session and get to every details like turn-ins, braking points, exits, stuff like that. As of now, join you at the end of the race. And here are the race results. And would you look at that? At 3:05.209, I was more than 2 seconds a lap quicker than the fastest the AI cars could manage. Even look at the last lap. Yes, I did make a mistake. Even despite that, my lap was in the same vicinity as the AI cars. Despite being at 100% AI, these are the results. Look at the fastest laps of the AI cars, just look at them. The fastest they could manage was a 3:07.287. Looking at the sector times, I did get all 3 purple sectors, not really a surprise. I was 2 seconds a lap faster. A 55.4 in the first sector, 79.7 in sector 2, all the AI cars were in the mid to high 80s. And a 49.3 in the final sector for me. And judging by how my fastest time was just 2/10 of a 3:05, can we do a sub 3:05 time? Let's see, all we can do is try. Before we start, let me show you my setup. We are going with everything at default settings because that's the setting we have our benchmark time set on. Apart from one little thing, we'll go to electronics and turn the traction control off. It's the only thing the driver can change from his driving seat, so that's what we're going to do. Anyway, time to drive now. Alright, we did start our session here. We're going to take these first few laps a bit easy, let the car warm up, and meanwhile talk about the car. Now, the car we're driving today is the 4th generation MX-5 Miata, also known as the ND Miata, the other 3 generations being nicknamed as NA, NB, and NC. The NA Miata came out in 1989, stayed in production until 1997. In 98 came the NB. In 2005 came the NC, the infamous NC, which the car many regard as the worst looking and the heaviest of the Miatas. And there was also an NC2, a midlife update to the NC generation that came out sometime in 2008. And then in 2015 came this, the ND Miata. At launch it came with 2 engine options, a 1.5 liter NA 4-cylinder that was good for around 130 horsepower, and then there was the 155-160 horsepower 2 liter NA 4-cylinder which we've got today. The other good stuff of 2 options that was offered during launch was the manual, also the one we got today. The other one was a 6-speed automatic. In 2018, this 2 liter engine got a bump in power all the way to 180-ish horsepower, 184 it was, I believe. What this version, the 160 PS version, also had was 200 Nm of torque. All these numbers doesn't sound like much, right? 2 liter engine, 160 horsepower, 200 Nm torque. These are mid-size family sedan numbers these days. Most, if not all, hot hatches have way more than that. But like I said, sports cars are not meant to have a ton of power. It just has to have enough to make you enjoy the car, enjoy the driving. And at just 1000 kilos and with rear wheel drive, it's way more engaging to drive than your run of the mill mid-size sedan. There's something about driving a lightweight manual front engine sports car pioneered by the British originally of all people, which is why this is also regarded as being the only British roadster left in the market despite being a Japanese car. Now remember how I called the NC Miata as being the heaviest and also the most hated Miatas of all? This car solved the problem. At around 100 kgs lighter out of just 1100 kilograms of the NC, this was close to a 10% weight reduction. When was the last time you heard a modern car being 10% lighter than its predecessor, huh? And it's not like they took out a component of the NC Miata and just replaced it with a 100 kilogram lighter version of that. No. The entire car was engineered to be light. Even the glass in the windshield and the windows are thinner than what you'd normally find in a regular car. That's the kind of attention to detail that went into the weight saving of this car. And it paid off. The ND had a job to do to get all that attention back to Mazda. Of course, it was also helped by everything else today being turbocharged with a zillion horsepower and weighing as much as a planet. But let's not take credit away from this car, which is amazing. It's not exotic by any means, but the point of the Miata is to be an affordable option to all the other supercars and hypercars in the market. And why not offer more excitement than all those cars in the process? Ask anyone who has driven a Miata why this car is special, and before they even answer your question, there will be a big fat smile across their face. Whether you are in need of an affordable platform to customize into a race car, or just a fun open-top cruising experience for the weekends, the Miata is always the answer. It's a meme at this point, this whole Miata is the answer thing. Well, now that you have justified the fun part of being fun and affordable, let's address the elephant in the room. When this thing came out, it cost around 35,000 USD. For those wondering what's that in Indian currency, it's around 28 lakhs of rupees, which is a lot really. For what is just a toy. This car is not practical, it seats only two including the driver, has next to no luggage space. You don't buy these kind of cars for utility. And judging by how the biggest problem of world economy today is how our income has not kept up with the inflation, which means people today have less and less money that they can spare just for pleasure and fun. It's exactly the reason why no one else makes this kind of car anymore. There's really room for just one car of this kind in the market. But my god, what a one of its kind. Okay, so I'm restarting this session with fresh tires. Let's try and put some quick lap times now. Right, I've been driving this car for like 40 minutes and I'd probably drive more had it not been for that red marker over there that tells me to stop driving, otherwise my legs will start to hurt. Thanks, buddy. Wait, that's just the fuel indicator. Anyway, let's go look at the lap times that we just set, shall we? And here they are. After a 12 lap session, the fastest I could manage was a 3:05.237, roughly the same that I did in the race. And if you look at the lap times, apart from the first couple of laps, all the other 10 laps are way faster than what the AI cars did in the race. All my times are in a delta of what? Roughly 1.2 seconds apart from lap 11. I did a few mistakes, went into a couple of corners way too hot, but even that time is faster than the AI cars. Now let's take a close look at lap number 8. Here's the breakdown. Across the line on the start finish straight to start the lap. And don't you worry, thanks to video editing trickery, you won't be here for 3 minutes. For turn 1, hit your brakes right in between the 50 and 100 marker. Release at the entry, let the car coast. Floor the accelerator right after the apex. Coming up is turn 2, 3, 4, that together constitutes probably the most famous corner of any track that currently hosts races, the famous Eau Rouge. Flat out throughout the corner, thanks to just 160 horsepower, it doesn't have enough power to break traction from even those skinny wheels. On to the famous Camel Straight. Coming up once again is a series of 3 corners, turn 5, 6 and 7. Here I use that news van on the right as my marker. As soon as that gets beneath my rear view mirror, I hit the brakes, releasing into the corner and getting onto the throttle before even the apex. Modular around turn 6, and as you approach 7, slowly floor the throttle. Coming up is turn 8. Hit your brakes, release at the entry and gently get back to power. Release at the entry of turn 9, let it coast for a while and get back on power at the apex. Next up is turn 10 and 11. A short and hard dab of brakes at the entry, keep it in 4th gear, modulate the throttle around the corner and floor out of the exit of turn 11. Coming up is turn 12 and 13. Hit brakes and start turning in early. For some reason this car understeers a lot in this corner. Keep it to the right as you enter turn 13 and get back to power early to carry maximum speed out. Brake where the outer curves at the entry start for turn 14. Release at the entry, let it coast for a while and floor the throttle at the apex. Flat out through turn 15, 16 and 17. Coming up is the final 2 corners, turn 18 and 19, the notorious chicane. Hit your brakes right in between the 50 and 100 markers on the left. Release gently as you start to turn in. Keep it to the right and use the slight banked section at the apex of turn 19 to make a good exit onto the start finish straight. Flat out from there as the cute little Mazda crosses the line in a 3:05.237. And that's it for today. Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment box below. Also, if you have a favorite car or track that you want to be featured in this channel, let me know about those as well and I shall try to cover them. While you're down there, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon. Hit the like button if you liked it, share if you loved it, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, drive hard, drive safe. Take care.